UFC Vegas 109, Roman Dolidze versus Anthony Hernandez just took place. I wanted to get this video out earlier, but I was pretty sick. It was pretty hard to move, and I had to rewatch a lot of the fights because I don't know. I couldn't watch I couldn't focus at the time because I could barely control my breathing and stuff. But I feel better now, so I'm just gonna make videos whenever I don't feel like complete dog shit. And overall, though, this Apex card, it wasn't bad. It was entertaining. But we're going to talk about every single fight, starting with the main event, all the way down to the prelims. So without wasting any more time, let's jump right into the video. All right, so we're going to start off with the main event, Roman Dolidze versus Anthony Hernandez. We project Roman Dolidze. And yes, I'm saying we because for the longest time I've been saying that Roman Dolidze is dog shit. And Anthony Hernandez proved that Roman Dolidze is dog shit. Hernandez might actually be my favorite middleweight right now because he's been fraud checking a lot of middleweight prospects. Not that I ever considered Roman Dolidze a prospect, but my point being, Anthony Hernandez, he's very, very good. I think he could be for potentially future champion. It kind of depends on who the UFC is going to give him, but he's my favorite middleweight right now. He's like Marab, except he has a legitimate submission ability, and on the feet, he's very damaging. Right? You're not gonna see like a one punch knockout from Anthony Hernandez, but Anthony Hernandez is one of those guys like where you don't need it, right? Because as the fight progresses, Anthony Hernandez is just gonna dogpile on you and just make you break. In the first round, I thought that Roman Dolidze he was kind of doing all right. Like he didn't really land much, but he was defending the takedowns of Anthony Hernandez. He was landing some shots on Hernandez, but then right after the end of the second round, like that was when Anthony Hernandez just beat the dog piss out of Roman Dolidze. Like Roman Dolidze had zero chance. You might as well have put me out there against Anthony Hernandez because like I couldn't tell the difference between me and Roman Dolidze out there. But yeah, Anthony Hernandez, super impressive performance. I really can't wait for him to like challenge someone who's like at the top of the division. Like, I think he can be future champion. And again, I know it's Roman Dolidze that he just beat, but no one's really destroyed Roman Dolidze like that. Like Nasruddin and Mavov took him to a shitty decision. And Roman Dolidze, he has an ability to make most fighters that he fights look completely dog shit. But Anthony Hernandez, he just didn't look like dog shit out there. He looked very good. Uh the kickboxing was surprising to me because I thought there were some openings for Dolidze on the feet, but no. Hernandez is actually a very good kickboxer who can set up his takedowns using his strikes. So yeah, again, super impressive from Anthony Hernandez, and I can't wait to see him fight someone in the top five. Maybe like Israel Adesanya or like Sean Strickland up next. All right, now moving on, we got Steve Ursig versus Ode Osborne. Now, Steve Ursig won this fight. But man, that was actually very concerning. Like Ode Osborne, you guys got to understand this. Like, of course, he's an elite level UFC fighter, or just an elite fighter in general. But at the UFC level, he's not elite, right? And that kind of contradicts what I just said. But my point being, Ode Osborne is a 50-50 fighter who's in the UFC. Meanwhile, Steve Usyk, he's actually ranked, all right? He actually built a win streak in order to be ranked. And the fact that it was very close with Ode Osborne, not the best look for Steve Usyk, especially because Ode Osborne came in as a short notice replacement. Now, the first round, Ode Osborne dropped Steve Usyk. Had me concerned because Steve Usyk instantly had to cover up, and Ode Osborne was hitting some nasty left hands and he was like cracking some shots. But round two, like I see a lot of people saying that Steve Usyk didn't win that round, but realistically, what did Ode Osborne really do? Right? I feel like neither fighter really won the round, but it just looked like Steve Usyk was doing more. Maybe I'm wrong, all right? Maybe I'm being biased, but it wasn't as if Ode Osborne was schooling Steve Usyk on the feet in the second round. So if you want to give the round to Ode Osborne, I'm not gonna argue with that. But I just kind of went with Steve Erceg because I thought he did a little bit more. Now, the third round, I thought it was definitely Steve Erceg's. Steve Erceg was able to get a takedown. He was able to just manhandle Ode Osborne. Surprised he didn't get the submission though. Like I thought that Steve Erceg should have been able to submit Ode Osborne. Osborne's grappling isn't exactly the best, but hey, Steve Erceg won. It's kind of concerning though because we were like one round away from Ode Osborne potentially being ranked. Right? Listen, nothing against Ode Osborne. I just don't think he's ranked caliber. So I guess good job for Steve Erceg. But there's a lot of work that needs to be done because this was actually a lot closer than I thought it would be. All right, now up next we got Yasmin Lucindo versus Angela Hill. I did not watch this fight. All right, do not even like bother to comment down below like, oh, you didn't watch Yasmin Lucindo versus Angela Hill? What a casual. Like, all right, let's be honest here. Nobody watched this. If you did, go get a life. All right. I'm not really gonna rewatch Yasmin Lucindo versus Angela Hill because it's like what top 8 ranked women's MMA fights, and you guys know how it goes, especially in the Angela Hill fight. They're just gonna shadow box at range, and I guess Yasmin Lucindo won. Like I'm gonna say that she probably won because she actually landed the more damaging shots. Because Angela Hill just never lands any damaging shots, and it's not like her grappling's elite to the point where like she can take down Yasmin Lucindo at will. So I don't know. It was just a very easy performance, easy prediction. Even though I don't care to watch this fight because again, Angela Hill's 41 years old. She gets robbed in a lot of her fights. So even if Angela Hill won the fight, can you definitively say that Angela Hill outclassed Yasmin Lucindo? Not exactly. So yeah, it was pretty obvious that Yasmin Lucindo was gonna win. But I don't know. Congrats to Yasmin Lucindo for beating up 41-year-old auntie. All right, now up next we got Andre Fili versus Christian Rodriguez. Now I see a lot of people claiming that Christian Rodriguez could have won. I don't agree with that whatsoever. Like round 2 I thought was the closest round because Christian Rodriguez did a good job adjusting to Andre Fili. But round 1, Andre Fili dropped him. Maybe not dropped him, but wobbled him pretty badly. And round 3, Andre Fili ragged out Christian Rodriguez because Rodriguez was trying to look for a finish, and Andre Fili was able to just take him down every time Rodriguez overextended. Now the second round, it was pretty close, but I still leaned Andre Fili because Andre Fili was landing the jab very well. Like Christian Rodriguez's eyes were swollen up because Andre Fili kept popping the jab, and Christian Rodriguez can't move his head. Now, Christian Rodriguez, I gotta say this, uh, you should be cut from the UFC. Like, you kind of ruined every single bantamweight prospect because you didn't bother to cut weight properly, and then you move up to featherweight, and now that you're fighting people who are like similar frame to you or maybe slightly bigger, you don't really perform all that well. So yeah, Christian Rodriguez wouldn't be surprised if he gets cut from the UFC because it's kind of clear that he's kind of a frame merchant or like a weight bully, if you will call it. But yeah, as for Andre Fili, however, a lot better than what I thought it'd be. Like Andre Fili wasn't exactly looking the best over his last couple of fights over the past 3 years. But hey, Andre Fili projects Christian Rodriguez once and for all. Back to fighting unranked, undefeated prospects for Christian Rodriguez, where he can fluke a bullshit decision victory. But hey, Andre Fili somehow beat Christian Rodriguez. Yeah, this sport makes no sense. But yeah, congrats to Andre Fili regardless. All right, now up next we got Miles Johns versus Jin Matsumoto. Again, a lot of people are calling this fight for Miles Johns. I don't really see it outside of the first round. Like the first round, Miles Johns was doing a very good job of taking him down and just landing the more damaging shots. But I thought Jin Matsumoto, especially in round 2, like he was able to outpace Miles Johns. He ended his combinations with like a body kick that will like kind of slow down Miles Johns. He just threw more punches and kicks, whereas Miles John just looked for the overhand right over and over again and missed about most of them. if not land on the guard. And G Matsumoto, even in the third round, which I see a lot of people saying that Miles Johns could have won that, like, not really. Like, G Matsumoto was landing more shots by like a large margin. And it wasn't as if Miles Johns was doing much until like the last 2 minutes. Yeah, the last 2 minutes of the round. Like, he hurt Gene Matsumoto with the left hook, but it wasn't like Gene Matsumoto got dropped, and it wasn't as if Miles Johns was really doing anything with his takedowns that he secured at the end of the round, because Gene Matsumoto was able to get back up in like 20 seconds. So I don't really see a robbery decision for Miles Johns. I thought Gene Matsumoto won this clearly, but again, it was pretty close, and it was a lot closer than I thought because I thought Gene Matsumoto was gonna like kind of school Miles Johns, but no, Miles Johns kind of hung in there and made it a competitive fight. I'm not gonna hate too much because I just thought that Miles Johns looked a lot better than I thought, or like usual. But yeah, G Matsumoto, we got to do better because Miles Johns isn't exactly the best. But hey, you won the fight, so again, I'm not gonna complain that much. All right, now up next we got Eric Anders versus Christian Leroy Duncan. Uh Christian Leroy Duncan wins. It was a nasty finish from Christian Leroy Duncan. Eric Anders unfortunately is a little bit too slow on the feet. Christian Leroy Duncan was just bullying Eric Anders. I believe he wobbled Eric Anders with a spinning elbow and then proceeded to follow up and deliver some nasty ground and pound. It was a crazy finish, right? Like, I don't think the fight lasted that long. Says here like 3 minutes and 53 seconds. Okay, so maybe I did miss a few things, but again, the finish was very nasty. It wasn't as if Eric Anders really had that much success. Like, he was able to hold up Christian Leroy Duncan against the cage from time to time, but it wasn't as if he was doing anything effective. So yeah, Christian Leroy Duncan gets a nasty first round finish over Eric Anders, and yeah, that was actually pretty impressive. And I'm glad that Leroy Duncan got a performance bonus. All right, now up next we got Julius Walker versus Rafael Sequeira. Now, Rafael Sequeira shouldn't belong in the UFC. All right, Rafael Sequeira, I still don't know what he does well. Like, he's ineffective on the feet, he's ineffective on the ground. How is he still signed on the UFC? Like, he doesn't show an ounce of talent on either of those things. Julius Walker was just able to toy with him however he wants. He was kind of rushing submissions, which I was kind of concerned about because what if Julius Walker gasses out in the later rounds from just going for all these half-ass submissions? But no, Rafael Sequeira literally couldn't do anything from round one, right? And I think one of the judges gave it a 10-8 round on round two. I don't necessarily agree with that, but there was nothing Rafael Sequeira did. Like, he landed some shots to the guard, and Julius Walker was able to immediately take him down as a response and just ragdoll him. All right. I expected a finish from Julius Walker, which is kind of disappointing. But again, I never really had high hopes for Julius Walker. So I guess a win's a win for now. All right, now up next we got Elijah Smith versus Toshiomi Kazama. Nasty, Rampage Jackson style slam from Elijah Smith. Now, throughout the whole fight, Toshiomi Kazama couldn't really throw any strikes. He was trying to go for a bunch of submissions, the heel hook, the armbar, the triangle. And then once he got to the triangle, Elijah Smith was able to dunk him on his head. And Toshiomi Kazama, uh, his neck took on the weight of both himself and Elijah Smith's. And it was kind of concerning because Toshiyama Kazama couldn't wake up for like quite a while. Like, I think he was still twitching. And also, the follow up shots from Elijah Smith weren't exactly helping. But hey, you got to do what you do. You got to do what you have to do. Like Toshiomi Kazama, like he was kind of twitching. So I guess in Elijah Smith's mind, like he thought that Toshiomi Kazama's still like ready to fight. But no, he wasn't. He was just kind of, you know, CT land already. And Elijah Smith kind of made it worse. Well, yeah, Toshiomi Kazama, he got escorted to the hospital, and I think he's okay. So that's good to hear. And as for Elijah Smith, he did what he needed to do. Just destroy Oshiomi Kazama in the first round. So overall, very impressive from Elijah Smith. And hopefully the UFC continues to build Elijah Smith up as a legitimate bantamweight prospect. All right, now up next we got Jocelyn Edwards versus Priscilla Capoeira. A nasty knockout from Jocelyn Edwards. I did not expect this. Like, I kind of did because Priscilla Capoeira's chin isn't exactly the best. But for Jocelyn Edwards to knock you out with a left hook, all right, like it just doesn't happen. And it wasn't as if like it was a TKO. Like Jocelyn Edwards like knocked Priscilla Capoeira out cold. So yeah, it was a very well timed left hook. And again, she got a performance bonus for that. So yeah, good job for Jocelyn Edwards. As for Priscilla Capoeira, I think she should retire. I don't know what you do with Priscilla Capoeira exactly, but I think Jocelyn Edwards, she's looked a lot more improved recently. And although she had a couple of losses throughout the early parts of her career, she's actually coming as a legitimate women's bantamweight contender. And I wouldn't be surprised if we find her in like potentially the top 5 or top 10 someday. All right, now up next we got Uros Medic versus Gilbert Urbina. This was an absolutely insane scrap while it lasted. Right off the bat, Gilbert Urbina drops Uros Medic, and Uros Medic builds himself back up to the feet. Gilbert Urbina, looking at the success he had with the right hand, decided to try to pressure forward, but unfortunately got caught by Uros Medic. And hey, that's what Uros Medic does. If you're not like an educated striker who understands distance at an elite level, Uros Medic will probably knock your lights out. Again, it was a very nasty knockout from Uros Medic. Gilbert Urbina, I don't know, it's kind of tough because this is kind of what we're expecting, but at this point, he shouldn't belong in the UFC. But as for Uros Medic, even though I don't think he's going to be like a top 15 caliber level fighter in the welterweight division, just put him up against a bunch of unranked guys. And chances are Urus Medic will probably sleep a bunch of them because, again, unless you're like an elite level striker, you're probably going to get knocked out by Urus Medic. All right, now up next we got Gabriela Fernandez versus Julia Storienko. Yeah, I remember like as I was lying on my bed that Gabriel Ferranda and Julia Storienko had one of the worst fights I've ever watched. Right? Like in the first round, they didn't really do much of anything. Like Julia Storienko just was content with getting outstruck, and she couldn't really find any takedowns. And Gabriel Fernandez, she didn't really bother to push her pace, which is concerning because I don't know. I was expecting a first round knockout from Gabriel Fernandez. Like, is Julia Storienko's armbar really that threatening to the point where you're not engaging at all, Gabriela Fernandez? I don't think so because again, Julia Storienko is like what 2-7 in the UFC now. So the fact that Gabriel Fernandez came in with this game plan kind of shows me that she I don't know, she's not as good as most people thought. Like I remember a time where like she knocked out Wang Kong, and then like I thought she was gonna be like an actual top 15 contender, but maybe not. Maybe Wang Kong's not even as good as we thought. Maybe Gabriel Fernandez. I don't know. She just had a performance of a night. Like it was a one-off thing, and then she just proceeded to fight like complete dog shit against Julia Storienko, who was much lower level than Wang Kong. I'm very disappointed in Gabriel Fernandez because you should finish Julia Storienko, but she won, I guess. So, I don't know. Fuck it. I don't really care. I wouldn't mind if both of these two were cut from the UFC, but we got to definitely consider at least Julia Storienko getting cut from the UFC. All right, now last but not least, we got Cody Brundage versus Eric McConico. I have no idea why his PNG isn't showing, but hey, this is the UFC website. They don't do anything right. Cody Brundage. Now the weird thing was, I thought he won round two. Now two of the judges gave Cody Brundage the third round, which I definitely don't think he won. But yeah, it was kind of weird considering that Eric McConico. I thought he was doing better in round 1, 3, and Cody Brundage, like he kind of stalled out most of the fight. Like round one, he got dropped brutally. And then the second round, Cody Brundage was kind of just getting his takedowns and doing his thing. But then the third round, he just kind of gassed out and just proceeded to stand there, letting Eric McConico just tee off on him. Very low level fight, right? Cody Brundage should not be in the UFC. All right. If anybody takes Cody Brundage past the first round, all right. Like, sure, they may be UFC caliber, but do not think of them as an elite level prospect because fucking Eric McConico just beat Cody Brundage. Eric McConico also shouldn't belong in the UFC. All right, very shit fight, very lackluster fight. Like again, it was the first round where Eric McConico dropped Cody Brundage, but even that was kind of confusing because it wasn't as if McConico hit Cody Brundage that hard. I guess like Cody Brundage just kind of slipped. It was a very weird knockdown, and outside of that, nothing really happened because both of these guys came in at short notice, and also both of these guys are complete dog shit. So yeah, cut Cody Brundage off the roster. Maybe you can cut Eric McConigal off the roster if he loses his next two fights, but either way, both of these guys are low level and just shouldn't fight in the UFC. All right, that's going to be it for today's video. Leave a comment down below what you guys thought about Anthony Hernandez's dominant performance over Roman Dolidze, and also Steve Ursig, his iffy performance with Ode Osborne, as well as any other fight that kind of caught your interest. But yeah, other than that though, make sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys later. Peace.